Intel. Iran says that it will retaliate in the instance of U.S. strikes against U.S. assets in the Middle East. What do you say to U.S. service members about why it's worth the risk to intervene in Iran?
Yeah, Iran said that the last time I blew them up with the nuclear capability, which they don't have any longer. So Iran said that the last time. They better behave.
Mr. President. President, on Iran, do you have a message for the leaders currently of Iran?
Yeah, the message is they've got to show humanity. They've got a big problem, and I hope they're not going to be killing people. And I'm going to have a report very soon. It would seem to me that they have been badly misbehaving, but that is not confirmed.
We have verified over 1,850 to be exact, protesters killed. We have 779 additional cases under review. And so this is an extraordinarily high number in and of itself. One death is too many deaths, but we have a really high number now. And the way that we verify this information as an organization is really no different than the way that we collect information in less sort of sensitive times. We have developed and maintained a large network across the country since the inception of the organization. And so in order to verify information, we rely on that in-country network. Everything that we produce as verified information has been confirmed with a primary source inside of the country. So recent days, we've faced a large challenge. This is an unprecedented internet shutdown. It's not just the international sort of internet framework. It's also all domestic communication channels, including mobile telephone lines and even landlines. And that really disrupts and slows the flow of information. It really reduces our information to a minimum. Our last couple of days, we had, slow things coming in, but this morning we were able to connect via landline after some days, as many others have done as well. And that enabled us to get in touch with our network on the ground and also verify reports that we'd been, waiting to verify for some days. The difficulty in verifying information has also been coupled with a new reality of automatic AI videos, essentially. And so on top of verifying videos to understand locations, and on top of verifying videos to understand, the numbers perhaps of people that have been killed in one area or one instance, We are also tackling the issue of ensuring that video is real, and what's circulating online hasn't been doctored or edited or whatever before it comes to. We have documented over 16,700 arrests. These are people that are being arbitrarily detained in sometimes unknown detention facilities, and they're also being subject to forced confessions. We have documented an unprecedented number of forced confessions in the last 16 days, and a number of 97 forced confessions in such a short period of time is extremely concerning. Forced confessions are a pattern of the Iranian regime, but they happen under coercion, and that coercion is often done with psychological and physical torture. And this is concerning in and of itself. But then later in a show trial, these confessions are used as justifications to sentence people to death. And so what you have is numerous rights violations compounding upon each other. They're starting in the streets when people don't have the right to assemble freely. And then people are arrested without due process, without any sort of legal guarantees. They don't have access to an attorney. They then are tortured to confess to a crime they didn't commit. And then that confession is used against them in a trial where they've had no guarantees up until that point. And then oftentimes we have to work on their behalf to get the international community to pay attention and halt their death penalty, which is not always successful. What I will say is that the focus of the international community should be on the safety and the livelihoods of Iranians. They are risking their lives coming to the streets. We owe it to them to believe in them and to support them and to ensure that they are able to assemble freely and not risk their lives when coming to the street. I think that that's really key. And I would also say that people do have a right to access to information. So cutting off the internet is a trademark strategy of Iran when they are trying to perpetuate, serious human rights violations and violations of international law. So we need to ensure that we are advocating for Iranians to have the right to access to information at the very least. This is really crucial as well.
So are you committing not to sending U.S. troops into Iran?
Why would I tell you that? Why would I don't talk about military strategy with a reporter, even though I do like the Financial Times.
Are you consulting with our allies regarding Iran? What are they telling you, and why do you think the Iranian...
Well, I'm not going to tell you what they're telling me. I don't tell you what they...
Why do you think the Iranian leadership continues to defy you, Mr. President?
You think they are?
Well,
it's only been a couple of days.
They continue to kill protesters.
Well, they said that about Venezuela, too, It's only been a couple of days. They haven't defied me. They haven't done anything as far as we're concerned. But it looks like they're killing a lot of people, but it has not been confirmed. I'll know very soon.
Freelancer, the premier of Freelancer today, we prefer to stay with Denmark. Do you see that as the...
Who said that?
The premier of Freelancer.
Well, that's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Do you want to see democracy in Iran?
Ideally, you'd like to see it, but what we want to see is we don't want to see people killed, and we want to see a little bit of freedom for these people. These people have been living in hell for a long time. That used to be a hell of a country. I have friends that used to invest in Iran, and they did well with their investments. It was a great place. The people were great. Even the leadership was good. And now it's living in hell. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.